Welcome to The Lazy Girl Library, the podcast where reading is a pleasure and captivating adventures happen from the comfort of your couch. I'm your host, Darby.
And I'm Michaela.
And if you've ever spent more time rearranging your bookshelf than your priorities, then you, my friend, are in the right place.
Hello, episode 7 here. It's your girls, lazy girls.
In the house. Crazy that we're already on episode 7.
It is crazy. It's also crazy for those of you listening. We just recorded our last podcast like 3 days ago, so it's kind of deja vu. I also am really overwhelmed at work, so I feel kind of like a loose cannon. So if I'm a bit hyper, I think that's why. I think I'm just like ready to roll.
Meanwhile, I'm on the total opposite end of the spectrum. I just tried to unlock my front door with my car keys. Like, we're just not having a good time over here. So
we're on two extremes right now. Yeah. I'm on like a sugar high.
So it'll be a great episode for you all. How are you doing, Darby?
Well, like I said, I'm overwhelmed, but I was telling Michaela before we started recording, on the way over here, I had a little pop punk session in the car, and I was dancing like crazy, and at a stoplight, I like looked over, and this old man in his truck was like looking at me and rolled down his window and like gave me a thumbs up, and I gave him a thumbs back, and I was like, yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta dance it out.
Good. But honestly, I'm really excited for this big event that I'm planning at work. I think it's going to be really fun and
you put a lot
really
of work
impactful.
Into it.
Thanks. So we're just in crunch time. So
sure.
My life has really been work focused, but I did get to start our book club book.
Exciting.
And I just read the first chapter, but I am intrigued already.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I haven't gotten a whole lot of chance to read just because we are a little bit behind on the podcast. Sorry to you listeners. We are a little bit behind schedule, but
it's okay. We're lazy. There is no schedule.
So I've been doing that more. So I haven't got a chance to start the new book club book. But I can talk about that later with our borrows and returns. Other than that, life's been pretty okay. Work's pretty steady, so nothing crazy there. Gives me a chance to work on other stuff while I'm there too. Don't tell my boss. But yeah, it's been fun.
That's fun. And you have fun plans this weekend, right?
Yeah, we're actually going to go see Luke Combs, me and Josh. So it's going to be a real fun time.
Did we see Luke Combs together one time?
We did last time he was here.
He's so good.
Yeah, we loved that concert. It's one of our favorites that we went to. Mm-hmm. And so we're really excited to go see him on his world tour now, stadium tour.
World tour. Mr. Worldwide.
Yep. So it'll be good.
That's exciting. That'll be really fun for you all.
Yeah. It's one of Josh's favorite artists too, which I love him too, don't get me wrong. So, but it's kind of funny because Josh used to hate country music. Like when we first started dating, he would have absolutely nothing to do with country.
I wonder what changed.
He's like the biggest fan of it.
I bet it was Justin.
I don't know.
I'm just
honestly, no. But it started off with like, I don't listen to country music. Then it was like, I only listen to Luke Combs, which like out of all the country artists is like one of the most like country artists.
That is like weird. I started with because I didn't like country music until freshman year of college. And I think it was, I forget his name. Maybe it's Sam something, the one that sings. Yeah.
Body like a bag.
Yeah, but the one that got me is, ecstasy. You know that one?
Yeah, I think so.
That was what got me into country music. So at least it got there.
Yeah, I mean, like, he listens to more country than I do nowadays, so he's got the complete 180 there.
That's fun.
Still like to poke fun of it.
Yeah, have you always liked country?
I have, yeah. My parents loved country, so I listened to it growing up. Shania Twain, I listened to like her Up album on repeat. I burned that disc to the ground, Darby.
I love that.
The amount of shows I would put on for my family with that album. Ooh, yep.
That's so
big country gal. Anyway, back to books.
Well, life's a story, so...
Oh, I love it. Love it.
But the stories we're going to be talking about now are the ones that we see online. We're talking about Technological Takeover.
Dun, dun, dun.
AI, so scary. But kind of the main themes for today, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of technology in the literary space. So that's ebooks, audiobooks, BookTok, Bookstagram, AI fan art, and whatever else we think of along the way.
It'll be a time. Yeah, I feel like it's, well, obviously in today's day and age, like everything's become super technologically advanced and like everything's online. So it's been interesting to watch the book community and like the literature world adapt to that as well too. Whether it's for the better or worse. That's for this episode to decide.
Yeah, it is interesting. I've been thinking lately, I've been on a big Boy Meets World kick, TV show. Did you watch that growing up?
Love. Mr. Feeney!
Feeney! Sorry, headphone warning. Justin always says that in the house. We yell it. But I was thinking about like, wow, sometimes life just seems so much easier and simpler because obviously there are no phones in that setting. And we, although it's hard to imagine now, but we grew up without cell phones and social media. And so just watching those shows sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish we could go back for like a couple years.
Simpler times.
Yeah, I think like mentally healthier times.
Yeah.
It just makes me like
sad. I could not imagine going through school without like Google to do like research papers and
Google
things for
sure.
Oh my gosh.
But like Instagram, like
Yeah, I get you. But just I think about that sometimes too, where it's like, could you imagine trying to do some of the things that we're so used to now without like computers, having to go to like the actual library for like not fun books, but to actually do research on certain things or find information instead of having it just like at your fingertips? Oh, absolutely not.
It would be interesting. It would force people to talk more.
That's true.
Social settings.
Maybe that's the introvert in me that's like totally disgusted by it.
Maybe that's what I'm yearning for. Please, someone, a stranger talk.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is strange. I've contemplated getting a flip phone.
Oh yeah, I know you've talked about that before.
Yeah, so maybe one day. But then how will I post on Lazy Girl Library?
At Lazy Girl Library on Instagram. Go follow us.
But anyway, so let's get into it. What is your preferred method of reading?
I think it's no surprise. A lot of this we kind of touched on, I feel like, in our Ix and Oz episode, but we're going to dive deep specifically into this. I prefer my physical books. I'm a physical book girly. I definitely gets into my hoarding tendencies where I like to have like the treasure trove of books in my own little library. There's like the serotonin rush of like opening a new book for the first time, like the tactile feel of having like
and like
the
putting
pages.
It on your shelf in the perfect spot.
Well, and it's like once you finish it, it's like the trophy up there, you know. It's like I finished that, and then I have this big library for all my friends to come and borrow books from. I just love a good physical book. Plus, it's like you get all of the extra details, like the little artworks or things that you see in the books that you don't necessarily get. Maybe I'm speaking from not having used an ebook audio and I don't really listen to audiobooks. Obviously audio is audio, not visual, but for ebooks that I'm assuming you don't really get some of those little things. You definitely don't get the tactile feel of like the pretty covers and whatnot. So I love my physical books.
Yeah.
But you could potentially sway me. I've started dabbling with the audiobooks a little.
Perusing.
We'll see. What about you, Darby?
I am for sure, my preferred method of reading is physical and even like more like detailed paperbacks. I'm not a big hardcover gal, but like I'll read it. Like the Fourth Wing book I have is hardback. But anyway, so yeah, physical is my preferred. I don't know, kind of the same thing. I like the feel of it. It's like mine. Like I have this. But I've really gotten into audiobooks this year. And it's been nice because I love sounds and noise. And I mean, I can be in silence too, but it's just so nice. I'm the type of person on a drive, like on my way home from work, I have like a list of people I call. And oftentimes, no one on the list answers. Or there just are sometimes where I only get one or two phone calls in there and they're quicker. So then it's like, who can I talk to or who can talk to me? My audiobook can.
Love it. Shout out Spotify for that new feature.
Yes.
Honestly, fantastic. We both have been enjoying it very much.
It's been so good.
Yeah, I've noticed that you've been doing a lot more audiobooks. I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Thanks. I am enjoying it. And then I've only ever done ebooks on planes, and that's been on my phone. So like if I finished a book that I had brought with me or I didn't bring a book and I want one, then typically I'll do one on my phone somehow. But those are my least favorite.
Yeah. I have been contemplating whether I want to start dabbling in the ebooks or not. I don't know. I go back and forth on it because I love my physical like trophies. So I don't know. We'll see. But
yeah. What are your pros and cons as you're thinking about ebooks or like a Kindle and stuff like that?
Well, there's a lot of them. So I think if we're going to start with pros, it's cheaper and easier to buy books because everything's all right there for you. I think ebooks tend to be like $5-6 versus like a physical book at cheapest is like 15 sometimes.
And the hardcovers are like 30.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I don't like them.
And
for what?
Tangent on the hardcovers, because I thought about this too when you brought up how you don't like hardcovers. I don't mind hardcovers. I like hardcovers. But if I'm getting a series, I need them all to be the same.
Yeah.
And so it drives me crazy how the books will only come out with a hardcover for like the first year.
Which makes sense. Like, get your bag. But...
Right. But then I have to wait even longer if I already have the series in paperback to get the paperback version because I'm not going to get the hardcover version to go with my series.
No.
So
and you already know I don't like those dust sheet things, which you taught me the word. I don't like them.
Dust covers.
Dust covers.
Or dust jackets or something.
I don't even know.
Same
I don't
thing.
like them. But back to Kindles.
Back to the Kindles. We're just all over the place.
So I'm really sorry, guys. I'm feeling loopy right now.
We're good. We're back on Kindles. So yeah, cheaper and easier to buy books is definitely a pro. They're travel friendly because
I do like that.
You have so many books with you in this little small device instead of having to bring like 2 or 3 like big chunky books with you whenever you travel.
The fantasy books are already so thick.
Yeah, exactly. And going to that, it saves you space in like your house because you don't have a bunch of books lying around and trying to find the space to put them. That's where I kind of got stuck, which is where I'm starting to contemplate maybe moving to a Kindle or an e-reader because my apartment is running out of room for all of these books without the books completely taking over. Which
let them take over.
I don't know how much Josh would appreciate that one, but you know. It's not completely out of the question either for me because he could also deal. But but it does help save space in that regard when you don't have the space for a massive library that I dream of having one day.
I will say I think my biggest desire or like pros with Kindles or ebooks, and I don't know enough about ebooks or Kindles, but I think I would have less neck wrinkles.
Oh,
because
looking down.
when I use a physical book, I'm always like looking down, like it's hard to hold it up.
Yeah.
And I see those things on TikToks, like the contraptions that like hold it for you, and you literally have the remote. So that is Lazy Girl Library approved.
To a T.
So I will say that really, really intrigues me.
It is intriguing.
I want to use that contraption, and I want to save my neck from the wrinkles of looking down at books.
I feel like I'd never get out of bed at that point. Having one of those, I'd just sit there and read all day because you don't have, like you said, you're not doing anything.
You'd have to eat.
That's true, but in theory, I could eat in bed as well while I'm reading. So I'd only have to get up to pee.
Sounds like paradise. Almost paradise.
Knocking on heaven's door. I also like with the Kindle too how you can like highlight within it without having to mark up pages.
That's nice.
Because I can never bring myself to do that in a physical book. I just like the pristine pages, but on a Kindle, it doesn't matter. And it'll save all those.
As for self-help books and like faith-based books, I can mark those up all day. But like fictional books, I am like, I can't invade the world. No, I can't touch it.
Exactly. It feels like it's like blasphemous in a way. You're like,
I am not the author.
I can't touch. Yeah, and it's almost like breaking into the world, like breaking a fourth wall. Yeah. Oh,
weird.
Cringe.
I will say, and again, I don't know enough, so I don't know if this is like accurate. I don't know if there's a lot of blue light emission from Kindles.
True.
Or what, but I will say that makes me weary because we're already staring at so many screens all day, and so you're staring at a book for hours when you read. At least I'm a slow reader, so definitely you're looking at that for a long time, and my eyes already, I feel like, get sore from all the screens, so I don't think I'd like that. I also don't know, do you know, can you lend books in a Kindle?
I don't think so.
Yeah, like, I love being able to give out
Yeah.
books, or books that I don't like, I give those away too, because someone will like them if I don't. And then also, kind of like we were talking about, a bookshelf. Like, I want to, the ones I do like, I want to be able to see them.
Right.
Like, if someone comes over and they're like, oh yeah, thinking of a book, I can easily point it out and be like, this one, read it.
Right. Versus like when you have the Kindle, I know so many people that do that too, though, where they like a book and then they'll buy the physical book, but then you're buying 2 books then when I could have just bought the one physical book and be done with it.
The price of a darn hardcover.
Yeah. Those hardcovers. I totally agree with you on the screens, though. That's one of my biggest cons in the bucket because, we're staring at screens constantly all day, and so just give your eyes a break at some point. But it is a different type of screen. I don't know. I go back and forth on it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of pros and cons. I'm trying to think. Oh, I don't like how the covers aren't in color either on a Kindle. Like, everything, like, on a Kindle, it's all black and white, which I get it because I think it helps with, like, the blue light technology, the way that they make the screens in that way.
It does have, like, a more yellow hue, like, from the ones I've seen.
Right. But, like, I don't know. It just, like, takes away, like, from, like, the covers for me. Again, it goes back into, like, the hoarding and happiness of having the physical book.
Maybe if you get one, you need to put like a fidget toy on there to like feel some sort of texture to like pretend.
True. Have like a fidget toy on the back of it or something. Or like those how they have the like
the little pop
air
things?
bubble or the what's it called?
The plastic popping things, bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Like one of those on the back where you're playing. Yep. Absolutely.
I think that would work well for you.
I think
Josh, Christmas gift.
There we go. I think also with Kindles too, the one thing I've noticed a lot from TikTok is Kindle Unlimited is like the big thing that everybody talks about.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I think it's like, from my understanding, and again, this is from outside looking in.
We are not Kindle girls.
We are not experts on this by any means. This is just what I have gathered from my online research. That is TikTok by research.
I believe it.
Haven't truly looked at anything.
Everything on TikTok is real.
Absolutely. It's like a subscription service that you can do if you have a Kindle where you get like access to a bunch of free books.
Oh, that's nice.
And so you're not necessarily like purchasing the books, you don't own them, but you just can access them, whatever, and you have like this huge library basically at your disposal. But part of that kind of goes into like our qualms with like the smutty takeover of everything, and like it's almost like oversaturating the market. Like, okay, I have access to all these books, but how much of them are quality versus just the quantity of them too?
Is that also like, I see on TikTok sometimes like Stuff Your Kindle Day?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is, or something similar?
Kind of similar. Yeah, I think it's like the same thing, but it's like, I think Stuff Your Kindle Day gives those who aren't subscribed like access for that day to like download a bunch of those types of books for free. To my knowledge, I don't know. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing. But yeah, they're all the same kind of books, I feel like, at that point. And I don't think you have to be subscribed to Kindle Unlimited if you have a Kindle, but it's like a big draw for people. But how much of that is even like quality books? I guess it depends on what you're looking at. I can't even say quality. Exactly, teach your own. But for me, it wouldn't be what I would be looking for.
Your typical type. I know you're kind of dabbling in audiobooks. I'm really into audiobooks. Do you think audiobooks count as reading?
Yeah, this is a big debate that people have.
Which I don't know why.
I don't either. I think we have the same opinion on this. Oh, absolutely. It counts as reading.
I actually don't even know what the counter argument would be. Like, it's all the same words, just someone saying them to me.
Exactly. Well, my thing is, when you're learning how to read and your mom or your dad or whatever parental figure is like reading you a bedtime story, does that count as reading? Yes. When you're like in English class reading whatever,
The Outsiders.
the great Outsiders, Great Gatsby or whatever, and you have to do that popcorn reading. Does that count as reading?
Okay.
Yes.
I loved popcorn reading.
I hated it.
I would like look ahead to like prepare like a performance. Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
Oh, that's so funny because you look at it as a performance, whereas like I'm going through making sure I know how to pronounce every single word that I'm about to do and like read it in my head 1,000 times so I don't mess up.
But then you think about it, everyone's only thinking about themselves and their only lines.
Absolutely.
We should popcorn read one day.
Maybe.
Bedtime story read by the Lazy Girl Library.
Would you listen? Let us know. But I think I don't understand the argument because if those things count, then audiobooks count. as reading.
Yeah.
You could make the argument that maybe you're not processing the book as well if you're doing it on audio versus reading because your eyes are distracted, like multitasking kind of thing, versus like when you're reading, like you're physically like looking at the book. But then again, I guess then your ears can be like listening to other things too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
When Justin plays TV, when I'm on the couch reading, definitely that has an impact. Does that mean I didn't still read the page? I just read it 3 times. So sometimes I'll have to back up the audiobook 3 times to get that chapter or that last minute.
That's funny.
I kind of get it, but not really.
No. It counts as reading, and anybody else that says otherwise just doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Do you think you could ever be an audiobook person?
No, but you could.
I don't think I could. I used to think I could, and now I don't think I could.
Why?
It's difficult. I pretended and practiced for my younger sister Riley one time on the phone.
I love that.
And she was giving me the hard feedback, and she was like, you need more. Like, there needs to be more. And I was like, I can't give more. I was like, I've read this 3 times.
It's true, I guess, because you don't have the visual to, like, help with, like, have those, like, visual cues for certain things, like facial expressions, whether they're angry, sad, whatever. So you have to be able to convey that just from your voice.
Yeah, I don't know if I have enough inflection for words. And also, this is just like a me thing, but when I get angry, and you know this, I sound the same. I look the same, I sound the same, the tone is the same, I'm just angry.
Yeah.
But it still sounds like this. I don't know how I would do that. You know?
I don't know, with enough practice.
Love to. Yeah,
you could.
Get an acting coach.
Absolutely.
Maybe one day, a little side hustle.
I would listen to your audiobooks.
Thanks.
So, keeping on our technology track here, social media has entered the chat in a huge way with books, whether it's on Bookstagram, BookTok, even like AI art starting to jump in there too. Like
Pinterest, I see it.
Pinterest, book quotes all over the place. Twitter, I think too. Is even...
I deactivated my Twitter, so I don't know. But I believe it.
I follow Goodreads on there, so I see more book content anyway. But especially ACOTAR, or like Sarah J. Maas, obviously it's just like everywhere. But even I saw J.J. Watt started reading ACOTAR on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter.
So many celebrities are reading it right now, which we wouldn't know without social media.
Yep.
I think there's something brewing. I hope there's something brewing.
Well, they've talked about it. It's been like rumored or like confirmed, not confirmed for like the longest time.
Yeah.
The meeting with Margot Robbie and Sarah J. Maas. Oh, you know something's going on there.
But social media is cool. What do you...
Pros and cons?
Yeah, pros and cons of social media. What do you like about it?
Pros. I think it's easy to find new recommendations because they're just all over the place. People constantly talking about their books, what they like, what they don't like. So you kind of find people that have like similar book tastes to you, and so you could like learn to trust like their recommendations because there's so many options out there.
There's so many books.
There's so many books. There's so many options that it's like overwhelming. So when you find somebody that can like truly like that you trust to recommend a book, it helps narrow down that decision making so much quicker. So it definitely helps with that.
Yeah. When we were saying so many, how many books do you think are in the world?
Oh my God.
Like,
I don't even know.
You know, what was that one debate that was like, are there more doors or chairs or whatever?
Doors or wheels, I think.
Oh, yeah. Doors or wheels. What's a book comparison? Are there more books or sharks? I don't know. Books.
Books for sure.
Yeah.
No, there have to be. Even if like, thinking about like all the books that we lost in like the Library of Alexandria when it burned down, like that existed prior to.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, a history thing.
Where was this?
Now you're testing me. I want to say it was in Greece or like Rome. Like sometime it was around like that time period.
Or like 60%
it was like the Roman Empire kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. But it was like this massive library where basically all of the knowledge, not all, but like where they tried to keep all of the knowledge of the world in like this one spot.
And it burned?
I think it was like during, again, historians don't come after me. I'm working off of very limited knowledge that I'm trying to remember from going through
really
Spaceship Earth at Epcot.
But you could say anything right now and I would be like, oh my God. I would believe you.
It was either like the Romans like takeover kind of thing, like invasion.
Yeah.
And so like
somehow they got destroyed.
Some sort of war situation. And it got set on fire, like on purpose, until like all of it went and burnt. And they tried to like the scholars at that time tried to salvage as much as they could, save as many as they could. But just to imagine like how much knowledge we've lost from that too, that like we would have had to like make up for or rediscover again. That, or maybe there's even things out there that we don't even know at this time that we could have known.
Aliens.
Exactly. Who knows? Who knows what was in those things that we don't know now? It's another one of my Roman empires I think about a lot. Every time I go through Spaceship Earth at Epcot, we pass by and they talk about the burning of the Library of Alexandria. I'm like, what do we not know now?
What do we not know?
Anyway, that was a big tangent.
I'm sorry.
I love the tangents. I'll go talk about whatever. Anyway,
it is easy to find lots of books.
Easy to find lots of books online. You can come across other books you might not have seen otherwise. So I kind of go into that. So it's like new like recommendations or like genres or like if obviously we're big fantasy readers, but maybe there's like a nonfiction that gets thrown out there that becomes super popular that you would have never picked up regardless.
Well, even The Nightingale, I had never heard of it until my friend Emily was reading it. And that one I saw on Goodreads, which is another form of social media.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's like so many out there that like if you were without social media, you just kind of get stuck in like looking for the fantasy. You would never hear about or know about some of these other books outside your realm for you to like test out.
Yeah.
And obviously like the sense of community, like Goodreads we've talked about in that last episode. You have all the different fandoms, all the Sarah J. Maas book memes, all the memes. I love memes. Yeah. You get all the like funny ones about just
we send many memes to each other.
So many TikToks to each other. It's just like fun. You get a lot of, it is that sense of community for like pros for it. What about you? Like positives?
I feel the exact same way. Kind of like the same things you said. I love that people are sharing their favorites. Like so many people feel so passionately about books, and so it's cool to see like what they love, or people that you would have never guessed like the same books as you. That's also been cool. Yeah. I just added a bunch of coworkers on Goodreads, and it's cool seeing what they've read. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know them as well because we work together, but I'm like, oh, wow, we like things together. Like
it almost gives you a way to like know about somebody's personality a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's like, you make new friends that way, which is cool. I like that there are so many relatable and hilarious memes. Oh, yeah. People are funny. They are so funny.
So creative.
Some of these TikToks have me like cackling, and also like they make me feel like validated. Like the SpongeBob worm that everyone mentions with Akatar. I'm like, yes, I'm not the only one, know? So yeah, I like how you can relate as well.
Absolutely.
That's a big thing. And then also something that's cool, what kind of niche, and actually I've never partaked in this. It's not necessarily my thing, but I think it's cool. Book merch. Like social media has so much book merch.
How did I not even think of that?
I know you are a book merch person.
I am a huge book merch
I don't have any book merch, but I think it's like, it's cool. And it's neat because then it's another way for you to just like advertise your favorite things,
Absolutely. Another creative outlet, another way to express yourself. Oh my gosh, I'm so mad at myself for I own so many t-shirts.
Me too. I know, they're cute.
No, that's a great point too. Yeah.
Thank you.
As for cons for social media, what are your thoughts there?
Bad recommendations.
Yep.
So, people feel so passionately and you're like, oh my gosh, they love it. Let me give it a try. But
so
then
much judgment.
Yeah. But then like, it's not for me. So that would be like a bad recommendation for me. But you don't necessarily know because there's so many books. Spoilers. Oh my gosh. So many spoilers. It's like, you gotta close your eyes.
I will say I was really nervous for the Third Crescent City book to come out with spoilers, but I haven't gotten any, knock on wood, so far, because everybody's been really good about labeling things. That's or like giving the warning before like you see something. So I really appreciate that people are starting to become more aware of that.
I am feeling freer with Sarah J. Maas.
Nothing can harm me now.
I can see anything literally. I'm like, try and spoil something. I know it all. Yeah. But so spoilers, those obviously bother me. Even when they're little ones, like I know they're not necessarily saying anything, but when they're like my favorite book boyfriends and they say names of characters that like I don't necessarily know, like, oh, like they're gonna be the book boyfriend. Like I try, like if it's not a name I recognize or if I know it's from a book I haven't read, I try to like scroll really fast because I'm like, I don't want to know like anything. So those are cons. And then also it's kind of like surprisingly a saturated environment. Like it's niche but saturated at the same time. Like once you're in it, it's like it's a lot. And then sometimes it is a lot of the same stuff. And like, you know, we're at fault to that too. We are, I think we've mentioned it in every episode, we love Sarah J. Maas. We love her books. And those are all over the frickin' place. So sometimes it's like, wow, like I've seen this meme 7 times on different accounts. Which it's okay. But it's like, I didn't realize that there would be so many. And then sometimes I feel like a lot of the spicier books are the ones that are highly, highly like publicized on social media, which is fine. Like love a bit of spice, but I'm not a 5 chili pepper person.
No.
I don't think I'm a 3 chili pepper person.
I couldn't even tell you because it's funny because everybody's opinions are different on that.
Different. What some people think is a 3 chili pepper.
It's
I'm
like
this is a 10 chili pepper. I'm like, whoa.
Yep, absolutely.
Or vice versa. They're like, this is so spicy, and I'm like, they just kissed.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't even tongue. It wasn't even a make out.
Yes, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think it does. It gets into, that's one of mine as well.
Yeah.
Where it gets into like trying to make your way through because obviously if you like spice and smut and whatever, then that's like great for you, like not to take that away from you, but for people like us who it's like not what we're trying to read all the time, it's hard to like get through the muddy waters of it all to find real recommendations.
And that feels hard. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And sometimes it's hard too because it's like I do like spice, but it's just it's too much. And like it's too saturated. Like I can't get out of it.
Yep, absolutely. And so when you're trying to find like those books that don't necessarily have it or like more of like about the adventure and the story, it's really hard to like get through all of that to find it because that's all anybody wants to talk about because that's what's popular and like the rage right now.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you there. I also totally agree with the spoilers. They're constant everywhere.
So scary.
It is. It's like even when you're not even trying because like we're spoiler alert for Throne of Glass. If you haven't read that, maybe skip over like for 10 seconds for this part. Seeing things that mention like Aelin and like Aelin and Rowan or whatever. But when you're on the part seeing with Selena and Rowan, you're like, it almost kind of like gives away the big part, which I assumed anyway when I was reading it that worked out, but still, like, it gives it away in a certain way, too, or confusing or whatnot. Yeah. I don't know, just a lot of things out there for spoilers that are really frustrating. A lot of dud recommendations, and that's where it really gets into trying to find people that
like the same things you like.
Yes, that like the same things you like. But it's hard to say that, too, because you want to branch out and try new things, but there's so many books in the world, you don't want to waste your time on, like, something that's not going to like be your cup of tea when you could be reading something else that you would really enjoy. So it's that hard balance between it all. Yeah,
especially because we're physical book people too. So it's like to go out and buy a book to then not like it and then you have it. It's like, sometimes that's hard.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially, and I've gotten to the point, I used to be I have to finish this book no matter what person because I bought it and like I'm gonna get through it. Like I don't want to like put it down. I have overcome that now because thank you. It truly was the like timing outweighing the need to like mark it as like finished or like done kind of for me because there's only so much time that I have to read. There's only so much time in the day in life that I don't want to be stuck reading a book that I already know that I don't like. Yeah. So I've gotten over that. I do not finish books anymore. But it sucks when you do spend the money and you buy a book and then you're only like a third of the way through. You realize you're not going to finish this book. So you like have to like put it away, set it aside, and it's like a waste. Yeah.
And that's hard, I think, for you, too, because we were just talking about you don't like reading reviews, Goodreads reviews before, so it's even harder for you to figure out, like, wait, will I actually like this? Are there things that are going to come up?
Absolutely. I try to do, like, the TikTok reviews or, like, people, if I know that there's a book out there that I like, I'll try to see, like, if other people, like, like it or recommending it from like my people that I follow. And I do look at the Goodreads stars to see. So if I find something and then I go on there and it's like 2 stars, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to read that. But yeah, no, exactly. I don't read the reviews though. And it can get difficult because I've definitely come across that. Whereas so many books have been like really recommended. Everybody loves them. I go pick them up and it's a do not finish. Ugh, so frustrating.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a lot of pros and cons with it. And they're kind of all intertwined with it too, where it's like what's also a pro is a con with like the recommendations kind of thing, or the memes are also can be spoilers. So they all go hand in hand with technology, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how they all connect. Everything connects in the circle of life.
It does. In the story of life.
I love. But another thing that's been really, like, taking the social media world by storm is AI art. Which I know it's not like fan art is not a new concept by any means, but with the rise of AI, I feel like that's become really popular, and there's so many different fan accounts that create AI art for especially fantasy books. So you see all the time for like Sarah J. Maas books, or even like Fourth Wing, when Fourth Wing was like on that super high too.
I haven't seen any of those yet. I'm just trying to stay so shielded now.
I skip them, and it gets into my thoughts for AI. But I'm kind of curious. I want to hear your thoughts first.
So my thoughts are that I don't really have any.
Thoughts? Okay.
Like I don't mind it. It doesn't really affect me much.
Sure.
It's neat to see what AI comes up with and like how it matches my brain. But I'm very quick to be like, if it doesn't match, I'll be like, okay, well, I think differently. Like, I don't know. But I will say when someone is so diehard, and this is, I guess, less AI and more just like fan cast in general.
Yep.
Or I guess AI, the look of a certain one or person, character, and they can't accept any other ideas. That gets to me sometimes. I'm like, all right, chill out. I know everyone just like praises this one photo, but like
it's like the one that you see everywhere, and it's not even close to your proof.
Yeah, we're thinking of the same one.
Yep.
Yeah. But so sometimes, that bugs me. I'm like, chill out. Like, it's not gonna be that. That is not real.
Right.
Set the standards lower. But no, for the most part, it doesn't really affect me. I honestly don't see that many AI ones. I see more Channing Tatum should be this person. Like,
oh, interesting. I'm the opposite.
Oh, I see way more of like, this
fan
is
casts.
my fan cast, and less AI.
Well, I need to start sending you my AI, and you start sending me your fan cast, and then we'll have them both.
Perfect.
I definitely get
Gotta
more.
fix our algorithms.
Yep, but it is. It's like one of those, you see one or two, and you go onto that page, and then
like
all of a sudden,
one, and then you have 17 in a row.
Absolutely. So yeah, I see a lot of it.
Do you like them, or what are your thoughts?
I do. I have a little, again, everything's like a little mixed for me. So I enjoy looking at AI art for books that I've read. So already, like, you know, the Akhtar series or Throne of Glass, like I enjoy seeing those and I can appreciate them. It is incredible what these people can do with AI and what they create.
It still scares me a little bit, but I'm trying to get over it.
No, it is.
Send me back to Boy Meets World.
No, it is terrifying because some of them are super hyper realistic. It's crazy, but I mean, like, shout out to them. They're so talented, and it's cool seeing what everybody imagined for those characters. And it's fun when you come across one that like fits the image in your head, like almost exactly, because it's something that you can only imagine. So now that you're like physically seeing it, it's like brings it to life almost in a whole new way.
Yeah, I will say it does help me because sometimes when I picture characters, they're like blurry. Like it's like I kind of have an idea, but I'm not sure. So then an
like
AI
refines it.
Yeah, I'm like crisp. Like, oh, okay, I can picture that.
Yep, exactly. But on the flip side of that, I try to avoid anything that I haven't read because it can totally ruin your perception and your imagination when you're reading, because everybody imagines things so differently that it's like what most people think of for like one character, I could think of something completely different, entirely different. But if I go in already having that image, it takes away from my interpretation of that. So I really try to avoid like, books that I haven't read. And if I can, even if I see things that like I don't recognize, I just immediately skip out and even try to look at the caption of it, just in case to avoid or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
But and then to get back onto the spicy thing, it's kind of taken over that too, which I get frustrated because it's definitely more the fans, less the artists.
What do you mean? Oh, by like hyper-sexualizing the characters?
Well, it's where like it's become really popular here recently. I've seen with artists that I follow where they make like a portrait of a character and then they say that to access the like not safe from work version, you know, like subscribe to my Patreon, because people were constantly hounding them.
AI nudes? What? Okay,
Yes,
we're on different feeds.
I mean, obviously I don't see it.
Yeah, I know.
But like it's become like the thing, and it's because people were constantly asking for these things or like pushing them like, oh, I want to see this scene, like chapter 55, like I want to see that scene, that it's like, okay, well, I mean, no hate to the artists. They're getting their bag, they're getting their coin. I totally understand it from their side of it.
It sounds like they have a good clientele, people enjoy it, but
exactly,
whoa,
you do you, boo. But I'm like, I don't, it's like, and it's constant, and it's not like I'm seeing it, but it's annoying when you're like seeing a post and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, if you want to see the not safe for work version, like, why is that necessary?
Yeah.
Like,
that reminds me, I might be singling myself out, but when I did have a Twitter back in like high school, when you would scroll and you would see that like someone liked something or someone retweeted something and it's some like very explicit like GIF, and I'm like, whoa, like I'm trying to.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, that reminds me of that. Like, whoa.
It does. It gives you it makes you. I don't know. Even though I'm not seeing it, it still makes me feel like. Ugh.
Well, yeah, and for me, spicy stuff is like it's nice and personal and intimate, like in my book, like. Yeah, I think that just makes it too real. And also a mythical thing.
Right.
Like that, like, I don't know. Because we talk about, like, wanting a TV show and stuff, but for some reason, like, I think because I'm picturing this cartoon or AI version to be way more explicit than what a TV show would be or a movie. Right.
It takes it to that next level that you're, like, you just really... You're not, at least like for us, we're not looking for that. Yeah. So that is my one thing with AI that I don't like. I don't appreciate. But I do appreciate the art behind it. It is kind of cool to see how people have like taken this new technology and completely run with it in this whole new world of fan art.
Yeah. And again, if you like that is so good. I'm so glad that they have that available for you.
So, but yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, AI. I mean, but it's also scary. AI. I don't know. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that is crazy. Well, I think so. I try to not have social media on my phone during the week, and then I use it on the weekends. This is what I try to do. Doesn't always happen, but so I don't necessarily think I follow like a ton of book accounts even on like social media, but I feel like you do follow a lot, or like you have more than me. Like for me, I was thinking about like
shout-out time.
Yeah, for me, I was thinking about like what or who are my favorite Bookish accounts. And my all-time favorite has to be Lazy Girl Library Instagram.
Yes! They're my favorite too.
No, but I could really only think of two and they were only Instagram ones I could think of. I don't follow any book things on TikTok. I just see a ton of memes. But on Instagram, there's this Instagram page called Read with a Cup of Joe. And actually, this is someone who I met through a mutual friend. It's like her book account. And it just has such a pretty aesthetic. And I just love how she themes it and stuff. Like, she's got a good grid. I don't know. It's just like, it's very pleasing to the eye. Exactly, Jinx. But I also like, she's posted like her tabbing method before. Oh. And like the colors of it like matched the colors of the cover. And I liked how she organized it. And I've never tried tabbing, but one day I might want to. And I think I would probably try to do the same one that she does.
That's really cool. I've never seen somebody like break down how they tab before.
I'll have to show it to you after. But again, that was Read with a Cup of Joe on Instagram. And then another one is, I think it's Tara or Tata Life Pages. And that one, she has like very fast like videos, like kind of like TikToks, but on Instagram. And they like will get me hooked on a book concept, and so I like those.
Where it's like those fast-paced like image kind of slide things.
Yeah. Or like where they flip the pages in front of the camera, and things turn. I don't know.
People get really good with their transitions.
Yeah, but she does it. She has like a really cool library, so like her whole back wall is like shelves, and it is full of books. So I don't know. She just seems like fun, and she has a lot of recommendations on there. But at the same time, she's not too overwhelming. Like, sometimes, like, when people will show, like, 7 different books in one video, I'm like,
too fast.
Yeah, I'm too confused. Like, it's too overwhelming. So I like that she'll focus on, like, one book per post.
Right.
So
that's nice.
Those are 2 for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've got a lot more than 2.
Yeah,
But
I figured. That's why I was like, let me name drop my people real quick, and then let you take the floor.
I have quite a few, and that's because I am on social media a lot, and BookTok, Bookstagram has taken over my feeds entirely, so I get a lot of the content. But I love it because
you send them to me. So
it's true.
Great. I don't need to look for them.
I do spam Darby's TikTok for sure. On Instagram, though, my favorite AI artist is called Dreamworld Dweller on Insta at Dreamworld Dweller. Her art, I think, is the most captivating to me. I do follow her Patreon because she creates like all these really cool wallpapers for you to use. I'll show you them afterwards.
Like
they're beautiful.
Scenery ones too?
Scenery.
Okay, cool.
She does a lot of scenery, which I love.
Yeah, we didn't really touch on AI scenery. I think we're mainly touching on characters, but just real quick, sure. I do love the AI scenery. I think I like that more than the characters.
Absolutely.
Because the worlds are way harder for me to like envision.
Right.
So those are cool.
And it's like fun seeing, again, all the different like interpretations. So that's what I like about hers too.
Yeah.
Because she'll come up with like 5 different versions of like one, like the cabin in the woods for Akatar. So come up with 5 different versions of it, so you can kind of like find the one that aligns with you the most.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
Cool.
And love it.
Dreamworld Dweller.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna go look.
She has some great. She does do portraits as well, and they are very good. Some of them I agree with. Some of them I don't. That's just AI. And it's funny seeing all like the differences. Like if she posts like.
Will she do multiple of the same character too?
Doing different things. They won't be like back to back, but like you can see on her feed like kind of how the characters are different too, depending on how AI interpreted it at that time.
Now.
Yes, highly recommend her page if you're looking for some good AI. My favorite brand on Instagram is a local one for us. It's a little indie bookshop called Writer's Block Bookstore.
I should have put this one on there. I do follow them. I do like them.
They have great content. I feel like that's very engaging. It's very current, but it's not overwhelming, and it's not like pushy like sales kind of. It's just really fun. It's like when you think of like from an indie bookstore, I just really enjoy their page.
And they have events that I want to try and go to. Sorry, that's an off-topic thing. But yeah, I do like, they have a good bookstore.
They do. Yeah. We should go to some of their events sometime.
Yeah, we should.
But shout out them. They have a great page. Now getting into my favorite Instagram influencers. Kristen Williams at My Friends Are Fiction. She has a immaculate fantasy vibe. Similar to the girl you were talking about, her library is extensive. But the way that she edits, like the filter, it's all very fantasy. It's kind of like more dark and moody. She, at one point, took all of her books and built like this throne out of books and like did like this whole photo shoot and like, you know, fantasy gown like on this throne of books. It was so well done. I just really enjoy seeing her content when she comes up with very creative, very fantasy, and I love it.
I feel like a lot of fantasy book influencers play a lot of dress up, and I want to get into it.
Yes.
It
cosplay
fun.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to twirl around in a fun dress.
Yeah.
But she's at My Friends Are Fiction. One of the people I've followed for the longest time, her name's Logan at Logan's Library. She does mostly romance. So we don't necessarily, she does like Sarah J. Maas, and we do have some similarities in books, but less for recommendations for me personally, because I'm not a huge romance girly. But her just like overall vibe, her content, it's just like really inviting. It gives me warm feelings. She just seems like a really cool, down the earth kind of girl, like somebody I would really love to hang out with. She's got like Texas girl vibes kind of.
I feel like all girls named Logan are cool girls.
Yes.
I don't know.
I came across her on TikTok ironically one day. She is on TikTok. She just doesn't post on there as much, and everything I think on her TikTok it's also a reel on Instagram. So I mostly keep up with her on Instagram. And obviously she posts more content on there. It's just it brings me joy when I see her stuff, because it's just like really fun and happy vibes, and she's cool and she comes up with cool concepts, and real like her a lot.
Nice.
my last favorite Instagram influencer is a girl called Alice at Wonderland Book Corner.
Alice.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Creative,
I see you.
She has, again, the aesthetically pleasing kind of feed where she does like the book stacks all in like the same kind of color hue vibe kind of thing. For me as a visual person, because I judge books by their cover for sure, that's what that does for me. Is like, it's less about what the books are about or like the recommendations. It's more about like the vibes and the feel, and then seeing like a really pretty cover, I'm like, ooh, I'm interested in that one. You know, kind of like dress shop. It's like window shopping for books. So that's what I like that account for.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then just a few from TikTok influencers. There's Livy Isom. It's at livy.isom. I like her recommendation style. She's cute little blonde with glasses. Different girl. That's the next one. Livy Isom does the stacks of books, and where she's like, if you like this series,
so she does do the multiple ones.
Yeah, she's like, she does a bunch of them in back-to-back order. So she's like, if you like these books, then you should try this series. If you like vampires and you read this series, then you might also like this vampire series. And she does like a bunch of them, but she gets more in depth than like what I'm talking about.
Breaks it down a little
more. And
more.
they're more like, from the ones I've seen, like where I've read both what she's talking about and the recommended, they're very in tune with each other. So I kind of trust her recommendations. And she does a bunch of different types of books too. So I like her, but they're quick ones too. They're not like the super long drawn out like recommendations. They're very like, here's this, here's this. So I like that. Anna at Indiana Reads is a little blonde girl with glasses. She has really great taste and in her books as well, but it's more her recommendations as like longer form, like talking about the specific books, like why I like this, why I don't like this. We have similar kind of vibes and how we treat books and like review books and like our thought process on a lot of things. So I trust her reviews. I like her reviews a lot. And last but not least, probably my favorite influencer, BookTok, Bookstagram influencer of all time. His name is Daniel Alexander.
You send me a lot of his stuff.
I send you a lot of his stuff. It's at Dale C. Sander. He's the one that does like the ACOTAR in 60 seconds or like funny skits. But he's very like self-aware, pokes fun at like
he's
all
like
the social media.
Fantasy female main character. Like he'll do like a skit about that.
Exactly. Where it's like, oh, I'm lost in the woods and I don't know what to do. Big strong man comes out kind of thing. He does like those types of skits. Like
Olaf short stories or whatever.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's exactly what it is. And I love both of those.
Yeah, I do too.
His content's, and he pokes fun, like I said, at like our community in general too, and like tells people like,
good. Keep
calm down. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, would you like leave people alone for what they do like when they don't like kind of thing. So love him. I do. I spam everybody with his who reads books.
He's great. That reminds me, we didn't really touch on. I feel like book talk and social media with books has really expanded the male book community, which is fun.
It is fun.
It's fun. I'm happy for them.
It's curious, like, for me seeing some of their book recommendations, because, like, a big one that I know, it's, like, I don't want to say it's the male version of, because that's not right, because there's plenty of females who like this author's books, but Brandon Sanderson is a very popular author, fantasy author, who I've heard like raving reviews about from everybody, but it's almost like the Sarah J. Maas, but more geared towards like a male brain, a male perspective, without like all of the like fairies and like fun frilly stuff that we like in ours. But I really want to try them, and but it's fun seeing, because like I learned about him from male book influencers on TikTok.
It'll be so neat when I see like a review of a straight guy and he's like, I won't say the names of characters, but he'll be like, oh my gosh, I love this guy. He'll be like, get it, or like, I'm taking notes. And it makes me laugh. I'm like, yeah, take notes.
Yeah. Love it. So shout out everybody. We'll try to tag all these people on our Instagram so you can go follow them too. Check them out. Give them some love. There's a lot of great influencers. If you have people that you really like, let us know. Send us your thoughts, opinions, favorite influencers. Send us funny memes and TikToks you find. We love them so much.
If you have ideas for us to make a funny meme or TikTok, let us know. We're a little lazy, but we'll try. I guess kind of summing up our thoughts, social media, I think, is very impactful and very helpful, but like anything, there's also negatives to it, too.
There's pros and cons to everything. Like I said last episode, we live in a grayscale.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be positives, negatives. It's navigating what's best for you and finding your own little niche, your own little path, your own little community, what works, what doesn't. What about your borrows and returns this week?
Okay, crazy. I did finish a book.
Love.
I finished the Emily Henry book, People We Meet on Vacation. So now I'm all caught up with Emily Henry besides her brand new one that came out. So excited about that. But this book was really good. I gave it a solid 4 stars. I really don't think Emily Henry can do wrong. I don't think the story was super, like, realistic of, like, an actual... Like, I don't know if a romance would actually play out that way, or all the, like, little side things that happen.
Right.
But I still enjoyed it. I definitely wanted to keep reading it. And again, I feel like I always say this, but she just makes me want to flirt. I'm like, oh, it's so good.
And
Like,
get you, like, in the
she makes me
mood.
so, like, giddy. I'm like,
Yeah.
that was such a funny comeback. Like, I don't know.
Sassy and fun.
Yeah, so that is one of my returns. And then my big borrow is Fourth Wing.
Woo!
So like I said at the beginning of the episode, I'm only 1 chapter in, but I am intrigued. And we shall see. I guess I'll kind of leave it at that. Yeah.
All right. I don't have any returns still. Haven't had the time. Haven't gotten through it.
That's okay. You're doing all of the editing technology. And the Emily Henry book was audiobook, so.
Yeah, I'm really trying to finish my Wild by Cheryl Strayed. On just one of my borrows. I'm doing on audio. I listen to it on my commute. Really enjoying it. I don't know why this one's taking me longer than most audiobooks to get through. It just kind of is. But I'm still enjoying it. Don't take it as a negative against this book if you're listening. But I'm still enjoying that. I was really trying to get back into Circe by Madeline Miller. Because it's been on hold since I was reading The Nightingale.
Yeah.
I don't think I was going to try to finish it before we got into Fourth Wing. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Because I want to... That's okay. I want to...
You don't want to rush it.
Exactly. I want to enjoy it. I want to give it the fair time that it deserves to, like, appreciate and enjoy it. And not just, like, try to get through it as quickly as possible before I can get on to the next book. So I think I'm not going to push myself. I'm still going to keep that one on hold, on the back burner, and then just go straight in the Fourth Wing. Yeah. Then we'll go back to Circe. So
good. Yeah. No, we want to read for fun. We don't want to rush things. Because, again, reading is such, like, a good, like, decompressing thing. Like, it's
I don't know about decompressing for me personally, because my heart rate goes up entirely too high.
That's true. That's true. It does depend on the book, depends on the scene. But I just mean, like...
It's true. It is for a lot of people.
You don't want it to feel like homework, so...
Yes.
Read it at your own pace.
Yeah. We'll get through it eventually. I'll keep you guys updated, but if you see that consistently still under my borrows, don't judge me.
It's okay. We're not even talking about the self-help book that I haven't touched in months. I just don't bring it up anymore. I'm going to finish it eventually.
It's fine. We're fine. We'll get there. In our own lazy time.
Yeah. Hopefully by the end of the year. That's the goal.
There we go.
But I think that's kind of a wrap for this episode.
It is. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed our little discussion here and getting to hear your thoughts. I feel like I have so many thoughts that I really enjoy your perspective and getting your perspective on a lot of these things.
Well, I agree, because sometimes I feel like I don't think about things enough, and so you give me more thoughts, and that helps a lot. And so I didn't know how much I was going to like talking about technology and social media, because as much as I'm freaking addicted to it, I like don't love it. Like I'm saying, I wish we could go back to where we didn't have social media sometimes, or things weren't so in our face. But this was a really fun conversation, and I liked it.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts at Lazy Girl Library.
Look up AI people.
Yeah. If you find any more good accounts, send them my way. You know I'll be looking at them. So.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, dear listeners, we find ourselves at the end of another episode. And remember, the Lazy Girl Library is not just a podcast, it's a community. We absolutely love hearing from fellow book lovers, so don't forget to share your thoughts and your favorite reads with us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at Lazy Girl Library. Make sure to check out our website, lazygirllibrary.com, your one-stop shop for all things Lazy Girl. Before we go, we want to take a moment to thank all of our wonderful listeners. Whether you're listening from your cozy bed, on your way to work, or anywhere in between, thank you for making us a part of your day and for being a part of our Lazy Girl family. So keep those pages turning, keep those imaginations flourishing, and remember, the best stories are yet to be discovered. Until next time, stay lazy and happy reading.